Two Jack Bros! Two Jack Bros!
Welcome back to Two Jack Bros, and if it's your first time, thank you for giving us a shot, and welcome to you as well. I am Sidney. I am sitting next to Ansley.
Hello.
And today, our guest is none other than the Robbie Goodwin.
Oh, I'm important enough to get a "the" in front of my name.
You
I
are.
thought it was just a Robbie Goodwin.
No, you don't want to be a Robbie.
I know. I'm the big leagues now. I'm the Robbie Goodwin. Because there's a surfer. For the longest time on Google, this is like 13-year-old surfer named Robbie Goodwin, who every time I Google my name, this fucking kid. It was always like It was always like, I hate this kid.
He came after you.
He came after me. Yeah, exactly. And he was like doing good, and everyone's like, oh, you're so good at surfing. I'm like, oh, fuck you, man.
Now, did you refer to him in your mind as the or a Robbie Goodwin?
I was like, this guy might be the Robbie Goodwin. Piss me off. Now look at me now. I'm the Robbie Goodwin.
Hell yeah. You're moving on up, article-wise.
Fuck you, surfer. Now you're 20 or a has-been.
Yeah. A shark probably ate one of his arms. It's all good.
I fucking hope so. Robbie Goodwin, if you're listening to this, you're a Robbie Goodwin to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the Robbie Goodwin now. I am the captain now.
Yeah. Now, before we get started, of course, we're going to ask you guys to do all of the things you do to show love to a podcast. Rate, review, subscribe, and especially the ratings and reviews on iTunes really help to grow the show. We're trying to grow the show. Help us grow the show. Mm-hmm. Right? Also, check out our Patreon. $1 gets you all of our exclusive content, the calendar of this podcast, and some other stuff we'll tell you about later. And also, check out Robbie Goodwin's podcast with Mike Figs called The Young Guns.
Young Guns.
The Young Guns.
Young Guns.
You're also doing some stand-up in October you want people to check out.
Yeah. So I'm co-headlining me and Figs at the Auto Bar in Baltimore. Actually, yeah, so Philly people coming out. Lemare Lee is also on the show.
Nice.
As is Joe Gorman and Nick Oldershaw and who else? I think that's it. It'll be a good time. It'll be a really good time. The Auto Bar is a really cool, historic, fun venue. And
that cast is Revenge of the Nerds.
Nice.
Like the incel Avengers.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now, Robbie, do you know what we do on this podcast?
Vaguely, a little bit.
Okay. So, basically, the bottom line is we're trying to prove that you can have a dark sense of humor and still reach enlightenment / a higher consciousness. So what we do is we take our guest, who is you today, the Robbie Goodwin, through the process of enlightenment so that our viewers can laugh their way to a higher consciousness without having to do all the hard work you're going to be doing today.
Okay, great.
Fine by you?
Sounds good to me, although I'm a little scared. I don't think I've ever been enlightened.
No? Well,
I live in the darkness like Batman.
Okay.
I'm vengeance.
Well, stick around for the Patreon because we do that too. We also do the darkness.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, so everybody gets the same questions.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
And Ansley, let's take it away.
So, Robbie, what situation or event did you learn the most information from?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh God, here's my problem. I'm so bad about thinking about anything about my life or remember anything. So it's gonna be a lot of you going, Ooh, great question.
You just be like, well, that one time when I was surfing.
Yeah. I'll just answer it if I'm a surfer. I think I might know more about him than me. What did I learn the most from? You know what? I think college actually taught me a ton. Like, not the classes. They were kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
But I realized that, like, I didn't really know how to, like, socialize at all, really, until college. Like, I didn't have, like, a ton of friends growing up in high school. And, like, college, like, being away from because we moved around a lot in high school. Mm-hmm. So just kind of being perched in one place with, like, young adults. I mean, like, my freshman year, like, that first few weeks felt very, very transformative to me. For lack of, like, a better, like, I really think I was a very different person going in and coming out of college. And even that, just my first year there, like, for sure.
So how were you trying to socialize before that first year? And then what did you learn about socializing in that first year?
Honestly, I'm still not great at it, but, like, kind of just, like, the basics of talking to people. Like, very common sense things like, ask them about themselves. Don't talk about Family Guy for 40 minutes. Like, I kind of, like, it was a lot of, like, on-the-job training a little bit. Like, high school kids aren't, it's just kind of, like, a fucked up way to, I don't feel like I learned that much. I kind of, like, in high school, I think the way that I talked to people, like, I was definitely a guy who was, like, friendly with everybody, but not close with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. but I think the way I got there, even there, like I kind of like, it was almost like all defense mechanisms, just trying to be funny at them all the time and stuff, and trying to be like, oh, waka waka, all that stuff. And in college, I kind of like learned how to like talk to people and like
Waka?
waka. How are you walking? I'm walking in. All right, folks, enlightenment. But yeah, I just don't think that I like knew. Like I think kind of being like I think because I gave like a first I think in high school it was all defense mechanisms. I was also very fat in high school, and college is where I kind of also lost a lot of weight, and so that helped. So that weirdly does help because you get your confidence up a little bit. Not that it's at its highest now, but still.
Well, you're a tall guy.
Yeah, I was almost 300 pounds in high school. Like that it was bad. But yeah, so then I lost some weight, and I think that helped too, for sure. So I just learned a lot just being out, and I love my parents, but just being out of the like home of my parents, I think helped me like grow in a lot of positive ways.
Why did you guys move around when you were in high school?
Honestly, my mom would just get bored.
Yeah.
And like want to move around a lot. She'd be like, Yeah, I mean, well, first we lived in the city of San Francisco. My parents got divorced. We lived in the city for a while, like in just like an apartment, and then like we moved to the suburbs down there, and then we stayed there for a long time, but then we moved back and forth a couple times.
But it was new schools every time for you?
It was new, and like until high school, I think I was in like 4 or 5 different schools. And then high school, like she wanted to switch schools because she moved again. But I was like, no, I'm going to stay at this school because my dad still lived in the same district. So I was able to still stay there. But yeah, I almost switched schools again in high school. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I've already I put down some sort of, because high school is when I was like first starting to get friends and start feeling like I was actually like kind of being a real person. But like, so I was like, I don't want to move again. I can't start over again,
Yeah.
So.
And did you go away to school? Like, did you go... Or is it?
I went to...
Does he got boarding school energy to you? Is that what you're
No.
asking?
I meant like college. Like you grew up in San Francisco. Like, did you go to college like far away from parents?
Yeah, I went to college in Boston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we both took that the same way.
Yeah. Some sort of drug addict? You think I am less than 0? Did I do coke before this? Yes, but that's still rude. No, I'm kidding.
From a certain era of people, that is a rude question to ask somebody if they went to a boarding high school.
No, yeah, my sister did go to boarding school, but it was
she snipped it on.
Yeah.
She snipped it, yeah. But it was only for, but that was just because she would like wanted to. I think also she wanted to like live on her own, I guess.
Yeah.
It wasn't like because of bad behavior or whatever, but yeah. But I was in like I was just in the same high school, and then I went to Emerson, which is in Boston. It's like an entertainment school. Mm-hmm. So I learned a lot. It was fun, although I wish I got like a degree that was like more useful. I was like, I want to do comedy, and then I was like, so I majored in film, and it was great. I just love film. I'm still a huge movie person. Like I know, and so it was definitely great. It was a good time, but I think you're just so much more idealistic and like, you know what? I'm going to study what I want. I read some Ebert quote that was like, kids in college should study whatever they want. And I'm like, you're right, Roger Ebert. And then it's like, oh shit, all right, well, this is tough to actually get a job in. I don't really care if you have a degree or not. It's one of the only fields where it's really not necessary to have a degree.
So how would you rate that advice from Roger Ebert now?
Roger, if you're listening, fuck you. No, I mean, it was like, I see the benefits, but it's not practical advice. It's definitely like very lofty. And I think when you're younger, you just don't understand. I think you just don't understand. I mean, it's good to get, I think like, it's good to be able to at least, I think I just wasn't really thinking about jobs. I was just like, college just seems really fun and I want to like study this because I'm passionate about it. Yeah. But then it's like, okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a Republican here, but because I did have a really good time in college and it was nice to study what I wanted to study, but it's also like is that like there is room for a little practical advice. I think I could have maybe not talked out of it, but someone could have maybe like given me a strong argument for it. We give liberal art school 2 thumbs down. Yeah, if I could have talked to fucking Cisco. I don't even know why I regret. I don't even really regret it. I got some great internships out of it. Got some good network again, and I now have jobs. And I have had jobs in the industry and stuff from it, but it's just still like, my sister is like crushing it. Like she's doing very well, and it's like, but I don't know if I could do those kinds of jobs. I think I'm very creative brained. I think I'm like, I don't think I could do like sales or whatever, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
My mom's great at sales. I'm just not that kind of guy.
Okay, so if you had to distill the information that you got from that experience into like a few sentences, how would you put it?
I learned how to socialize. I learned how to be like a more complete person, and I learned how to form lasting relationships. I would say in college.
It's good information to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's good
important.
information.
Yeah.
Now, I only have to approach this because I don't want you to be concerned for the rest of the episode, but were you worried about sounding like a Republican because we're an interracial couple?
Sydney, the minute I walked in.
We're not, because this isn't a woke. I mean, she's woke.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm a liberal person. That's the only reason I said that. I was like, should I be saying this? Because I do kind of believe that you should learn whatever you want to learn in college.
Dude, I am sandwiched between two liberals.
Look at you.
This is fucking gross.
I love black conservatives. They're the best.
Yeah.
Now we're back on board.
Yeah.
Is that your Trump sign outside?
Yeah.
There's this flag out. There's a flag out there that says. This flag doesn't just say Trump. I've always said it says Trump won, you know it, and I know it. It's like, I don't think I know that. Why do you assume that I think that deep down? I don't even think that deep down.
I'm going to take a picture of you next to that sign. Alright, so now we're going to open up these chakras from the bottom chakra up, and that's basically how we do our path to enlightenment, Robbie. Our first chakra that we open is located in the butthole. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, sure. Tim Buttholery.
Nice. Shout out Tim Butthole.
I'm warming up for Dad meat.
Yeah.
Once I hit him with that, they're going to be like, oh, Robbie, you're like the best guest we've ever had.
Yeah.
Tim Buttholery. We never thought about that.
Alright, Ansley, let's do it.
All right, Robbie, how did you learn to overcome fear?
I don't know. That's a good question. I still don't really know because I'm overall run very anxious. I would say the one thing that I kind of tell myself is you just have to do things you're afraid of. I think that's really the only way you can truly overcome a fear is you just kind of because stand up, I'll say this, stand up I was so nervous to do stand up for years and years, and then I'm still nervous before I go up on stage. You just kind of have to eat shit and bomb and fail. Mm-hmm. So you gotta do it and fail. That's really the only way you can be not afraid of it, And that fucking surfer can tell you that all day. He's scared of you. I bet he's been eaten by waves.
Yeah.
How hilarious would it be if his claim to fame is that he's never wiped out?
I wasn't afraid and I've always won. You know what? He might be a better fit for this show. I'm a fucking pussy. I haven't done shit. I fucking listen to all my fears. Oh, that guy is fucking big kahooning out there. Probably been in the jaws of a shark.
Yeah, surf. I've never been wet, though.
Never fallen off.
Yeah. So can you remember a time in your life, and it doesn't have to necessarily be in your adult life, but can you remember a time in your life when you were the most scared?
Yeah. I get scared of heights very easily. I would say, though, honestly, the most thing I was most scared of when I was...
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing you say, I am afraid of heights, and you have the Robbie Goodwins. You can't surf these waves.
Yeah. The other Robbie Goodwins are fucking killing it. I would say the stuff that really terrified me, and honestly I'm still not great with it, but it's a thing of you just gotta keep kind of eating shit. When I was in high school, I was just terrified to ask a woman out ever. I was so scared of talking to girls. I was just they don't like me, I suck, I stink, all this stuff. Or I wouldn't know what happened. I wouldn't be able to handle rejection. Maybe I should have 300 pounds. So maybe it was a helpful fear, but it just kind of still instilled in me and even in college it was even a few years ago, there was a girl that I was had a crush on and really wanted to ask. I ended up doing it, and we did go out on a few dates, but it was I almost had like a near panic attack, like in between sending the message and getting back sure. Like, getting back the message sure. Because it's just like, I don't know, that stuff still, asking out women still kind of, that's definitely something that like I kind of got in my way a lot with dating, especially when I was younger.
Can you remember the first time you ever asked a girl out? And secondly, was the first time you asked a girl out over like some sort of text messaging?
I think so, yeah. I think the first time, it was actually, I think, my freshman year of college, because I was like, I was just like, I just gotta go for it, or, you know, because I was like, everyone was fucking around me.
His fat voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotta do it.
I'll go for it. Oh no, I got mustard and there's a typo. Do you wanna go to a drive-through with me?
Was that your first date?
No, I forgot what my first date was. Well, it was just because, here's the thing, when I was in college, it just speaks also how much your environment can affect you too. When I was in college, everyone was fucking around me, and I was like, how do I get to the place where I fuck? Because I can't be the guy not fucking. So I made an effort to lose weight, and I also started like asking girls out more, and I definitely still got rejected a lot, especially like at first. But yeah, I think, you know, it was just like, I think the first one, I think it was just like something silly like a coffee shop or, you know, something like that. And it went okay, but then I was like kind of like scared. Oh no, wait, this is a terrible story.
Yes.
This is a terrible story that I actually blacked out in my brain.
Oh,
no offense to anyone. Yeah, oh man, so there was like the hottest girl on our floor. For some reason I'm Mr. All or Nothing. I was going to ask her out. And so my dad got me 2 U2 tickets for my birthday, the band U2. Cause I was really into U2 and I was in college for some reason. And I was still, by the way, at this time, I was still about 280 pounds. It was like my first semester freshman year. I don't think I'd ever really asked out a girl before. And I was just like, hey, do you want to go out to this U2 show with me? And she was like, nice. And she said yes. The show was like an hour outside the city. It was like where the Patriots play, so it was like 45 minutes outside the city. And it was just like such a terrible date. It was like the worst, because it's like, there was nothing casual about it. It was like, it was before Ubers, and there's like no taxis in Boston, so we had to like figure out, and there was also no trains. I don't even remember how we got there, but it was like, I think we hitchhiked. I think I had a blow. But it was like just like a long, awkward ride there. It took forever. Like dates, especially first dates, should be like brevity. It's like you should meet in a park and get a soda or something.
Or go watch a movie so you don't have to talk.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too. Or just like, I think that it should be just like, all right, meet, see if there's anything that counts, and then the second date should be a little bit longer or whatever. This is the worst date. Like, I mean, nothing happened afterwards, of course. So it was this long, awkward ride there. We get there. It was like so not intimate. It was just like this an arena. We were way high up, so we could barely see anything. They weren't even, I don't even think she liked U2 that much. And even me as a fan was like, this show is not great. It was like one of their worst tours ever. And then it was like just a nightmare getting home again. And it took forever. And I was like, I guess I'll see you later. And nothing happened, of course. But it was like so first of all, it was presumption me to ask out like one of the hottest chicks on our floor. And like already no. And then it was just every single thing I learned since then. I mean, it's a good learning experience, but it was like, damn, that was like one of those just everything went wrong, or just like, you know, just nothing was good. I tried to like be cool, and I brought like a joint in, and she was like, oh, okay, finally the first cool thing. And then so I was like, hey, put that out. And I was like, okay, mister.
Okay, so before we move on, I just have this quick question. Now, when you were in college and everybody around you started fucking, was there like a virgin that broke the camel's back where you're like, if he's fucking, I gotta?
Absolutely. My whole floor, nobody fucked before. I was like, well, these fucking incels are fucking, what's my problem, you know?
Yeah.
No, yeah, there's a lot of kids who had never had sex before suddenly having sex, and I was like, how'd this happen? Like, oh, I feel left out here. Even like, you know, there's definitely kids who were, you know, more smooth and like, you know, fucking in high school and stuff, but there's a lot of, I mean, Emerson's a very nerdy school, so there's a lot of nerds who like never really knew what was up, and then they all started getting girlfriends and hooking up and stuff, and I was like, oh shit, I don't know, something's wrong here.
All right, well, I'll consider that a fear chakra unlocked. That was a lot of good fear stuff.
Yes,
for that
yeah.
chakra.
Call me Joe Rogan. I'm Fear Factor.
Ansley, cranky.
All right, Robbie, this next
I
chakra.
apologize for saying cranky, by the way.
Is this all real, the chakra stuff?
Yeah. So basically, we're asking.
What is a chakra? I didn't mean to sound silly there.
So they're energy centers throughout your body, and they relate to emotions and organs and your health and well-being. And so if you have they're open, it allows your energy to flow better and
I love that.
sumptuously better health and mental well-being.
That's great. Are you guys like very like into like wellness and spirituality and stuff like that?
I wouldn't say very.
Okay.
You know, we're
Broy.
we're into it, but like we're also like if we had to categorize ourselves, I think jocks would be the way to go.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
intellectual jocks.
Wellness.
Like if
pros.
somebody
Yeah.
came, like a hippie came in, they would be like, they don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah.
you know,
So you guys are like you guys are the hippies of the frat. Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
Like when we're on the sports fields, they're like, man, they know so much about chakras.
yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So it depends on where we are.
yeah.
So all right.
All right, so this chakra is in your pelvis, and this is a section we like to call my bad.
Okay.
So it's a chance for you to apologize to a person, place, or thing in order to set your karma back to neutral.
Okay. Donald Trump, I apologize for not helping stop the steal. I was busy on the 6th. I had a date.
Yeah.
All right, let me think. Who can I apologize to? I've never done anything wrong in my life.
And we try to keep it broad, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a person.
Yeah, I would say,
All right. Sorry about that, guys. A little technical difficulty.
Yeah.
And Ansley, are you good?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Ansley, ask that question one more time.
All right, Robbie, this is a segment called My Bad. It's your chance to apologize to a person, place, or thing in order to set your karma back to neutral.
Ooh, a thing.
You're abusing a lot of things.
I'm sorry to cocaine. Yeah. I've kind of like already apologized to her and like thought about this a lot, but like my mom and I got in a lot of fights with her when I first got out of college, I think, because we had a very rocky relationship in high school and like and then in college again. And I think when I just get out, she was like, because she had like divorced my stepdad right before that, and like so I had a lot of anger towards her, and I think I like lashed out at her a bunch, and I just am like, now I'm like, I have just like, first of all, I think just because I'm not under her wing or live together or anything like that, and she's been like very helpful towards me and very supportive of me as she's gotten older and chilled out a little bit, honestly. But I think because of that, I think I did some things and acted like kind of a spoiled brat, and I was like, I think because I had like I'm on my own, I'm in college, I'm my own person. But I think that fuck you mom kind of attitude is very like juvenile. It's very like Bam Margera high school stuff, or even middle school. So I'm just like, and now I think as I'm getting older and almost reaching my parents' age, I'm like, okay, this is nuts. Everyone is like so human. Like you're like, because I can't imagine having kids right now because I'm just like, I feel like I'm just still like kind of clueless about a lot of things. And I think you see your parents as more human as you get older because you realize like when you're younger, you just see them as an authority who have all the answers and kind of you almost hold them up to a lot of times to a standard that it's like a lot of times almost impossible for them to like truly reach out. So yeah, that's like, and not to say that we still have like the most perfect relationship, but it's definitely much, much better. And like, but I think, I think that's something that I do regret. It was just like being, kind of mean to her when I was like.
What was the brattiest thing that you can remember doing or saying?
I just remember getting into long fights with her and like screaming at her and like just being like, or not scream. I mean, just like, just like.
What were you telling her she didn't understand?
She'd say things like, I wish that surfer was my kid. And I'd be like, I don't know how to surf, Mom. Fuck you. I don't really remember what I said. I think all I remember was us just blowing up at each other a lot. And I was just like kind of acting like I hated her. I was like, I don't know, just basically acting like I didn't want to like her to be my mom anymore and stuff. So
Did you storm out? Did you slam doors?
I gave some slams. I gave some storms.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like, but that's me. I get hot. I can get like,
Yeah.
I get, yeah. I mean, that's like definitely a thing. Like I've definitely gotten like, I can get if I get like steamed. Most of the time, I think I'm pretty nice and affable and like a regular guy. But if I get worked up, I can like fly off the handle a little bit. So
Do you break things? Do you punch walls?
No, nothing like that. I usually just
slam a
storm
door?
out. I usually just yell something and storm out. I did that to my sister actually last March. I just was like, I was just like, hey, just fuck you, and I like left some bar. We were drunk. I just left some bar we were at.
Now I have to ask this question because this is kind of important.
Yeah.
Now, when you were saying something and then storming out, when you said the thing, were you looking in their direction, or were you saying the thing as you were storming out?
Oh, I look in their direction, then storm out. I look at the
Last
direction,
word?
say something
Yeah.
mad. Yo, I gotta.
Yeah.
I'm a last word guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta end on a laugh. I gotta end strong.
Dude, that's a calculated move because a lot of people, they say the thing as they're storming out, and then the person they're saying it to barely hears them, if at all.
No,
Yeah.
I mean when I'm steamed like that, because I'm not like a physical guy. I'm not like an aggressive guy really. But so if I'm like trying to like get at someone or like it's like I use my words and I like try to like hurt their feelings or something, which is not a great. It's not a good. That's why I'm apologizing here. It's not just not like a good.
Yeah.
It's not a good. But I'm like. And I'm usually pretty good at it. I can hurt someone's feelings pretty bad if I want to, but but that's only when I'm like super steamed at them or something like that.
Yeah.
So and it never feels good a day or two after. In the moment, it feels amazing. If I feel like I really got to them.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been more of a physical guy. I punched my mom.
Really?
No.
I was about to say.
She would have loved it, though.
Yeah.
She challenged me
She would
to
have punched
fight.
you right
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
She constantly would challenge me to fight. So if we were ever in a disagreement,
Hell yeah.
she would call me a pussy and say, "Let's take it outside."
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, your mom sounds badass.
I could see her chest bumping you.
She's chest bumped me.
I'm sure she has.
She once chest bumped me over a court show.
Whoa, really? Why?
Yeah, because like the person that lost, my mom cheered that the person lost. And I was like, you really wanted to see that person lose? And she was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, yes, you did. And then like she made it into me saying that she was an evil person. And I was just trying to say, no, but you objectively rooted for her.
That's funny,
to
yeah.
lose. And she threatened, she wanted to fight me in the hallway. She wouldn't let me leave. She wouldn't let me leave unless I fought her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Which is another thing she would say. She would be like, how about we go outside and have a fair one?
A fair one. With Tommy Pope and Shane Gillis?
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah. She's
So shout out to moms.
Shout out to
Crazy.
moms.
Shout out to moms.
And that's a good apology.
That's
Yeah.
a good
That's a
one.
good apology. I hope she sees this, your mom.
She won't, and I really hope she doesn't actually, but I'll give her the Cliff's notes.
Yeah, she'd be like, I wonder who that other Robbie Goodwin is.
Yeah.
He sounds
He sounds like
lovely.
he's nice to his mom.
All right. So that's the pelvis chakra unlocked. Ansley, take it away.
So, Robbie, this is your gut chakra.
Mm-hmm.
How do you overcome disappointment?
Oh, I kind of, I'm actually sensitive, so I can take disappointment pretty hard. But I think I just did South by Southwest, and it was like, that's like one of the biggest shows I could do, and it went pretty not great, which is disappointing. So, but I think I just kind of like think to myself like, I'm not gonna like try and brush it off or anything, but I just have to think to myself like there'll be more opportunities, there'll be other times that you can do better. As long as you didn't burn a bridge or like get fired or something, like usually you can learn from it and something better will come around soon, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, guys?
Because I'll fuck up,
true,
at,
right, guys?
yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, because you'll fuck up at work or something, and you'll be really disappointed in yourself, and other people will be disappointed in you, and it's like, all right, well, what is there any positive from this? And it's like, oh, well, then you're just you're going to be better next. You learned and you'll be better, unless you're like a total like. There's a lot of people that are definitely resistant to change, I think, and I'm just not one of those kinds of guys, I guess. So I'm always like kind of trying to learn how to improve and be better and stuff. So that's something I like to take away from disappointment for sure.
Okay. So I always like to ask this question. If you did in high school, middle school, if you did sports or theater or any sort of extracurricular activity, do you remember a disappointment associated with anything in that?
Absolutely. I was so bad at sports, and my dad wanted me to be great at sports. My dad's a great athlete. He was almost an amateur golfer, basically. Like he was really good at golf, and he's really into basketball. He loves football. you know, like the Golden State Warriors are like his church, basically. Like it's like instead of like Jesus, we have like Steph Curry stuff all around the house. So he's like, so I think
You just said Jesus twice, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. We had Jesus and also that other guy from the cross.
Wait, what does almost an amateur golfer mean? Because to me,
I think he could have gone amateur, but he decided to like hang it up.
So he could have been
Or
not paid for
whatever.
it.
I forget if he's amateur or not. He was in the paper a few times or whatever.
Sick.
Yeah,
That's
so
still sick.
yeah, so he's like, so I think the fact that he was like, all right, well, I think he had like a thing of like, all right, well, I think, you know, I hope my son will be even better, you know, and I'm like, no, Dad, I'm much worse. So that was actually very disappointing that I wasn't more athletic, but
What sports did he throw you into?
we tried everything. I tried to be good at a lot. We tried golf, swimming, flag football, basketball, running. Like I literally tried I tried everything, and I was good at none of them. I was so bad. My sister was really good at soccer, but then I found theater, and I was like, I loved it, and I was great. I was like, oh, I didn't know I liked extracurricular activities. So you know, so
Did you have any disappointments associated with theater that when you were?
Not really, because I was like a standout. Like I was like, oh shit, suddenly I'm like good at something. I mean, especially for high school standards, you know, you're like, oh, that guy is like competent on stage. So
Did you sing, or act and sing, or?
That's a disappointment. I can't sing for shit, so I got my songs cut.
Wait, you had solo songs that were cut?
Yeah, I was supposed to be. I was in Greece, and Roger has a song, which is a song designed for people who can't sing. And they still cut it. They still cut the song.
That's pretty fucking ridiculous. Wait, so what did you do instead? The song number was
They're
out?
like, okay, we're gonna have you like do a speak song thing, and I was like, I just said some weird, like a few weird lines, and that was it instead of the song.
Like the song, like you spoke lyrics.
Yeah, I spoke lyric. Yeah, exactly. But they cut it down to like 3 lines of me speaking the lyrics. It was so corny. I mean, it was fucking high school theater. Nobody knew what they were doing. Very poorly managed, but they were correct to cut my songs. I cannot sing for shit.
Was your dad supportive of your theater?
Oh yeah, he was very into it. My dad's been actually very supportive of like everything I do. So I mean, the sports thing was a big disappointment for him. But I think once he made more peace with it, and then he was like, and now he's like still super, like he loves my comedy.
That's awesome.
He's even listened to a few episodes of my podcast and stuff. So I'm not trying to paint him as like, you know, like, my son should have been a football player. You know, I think it's just a thing of like, it was just that weird in between where I was just not good at sports. I didn't really know what I could do. So honestly, he was probably really happy that I found something that, you know.
Yeah. Did people always, because you're tall, would people always like question you about like being into sports or doing something? Like, was it kind of like a...
Yeah, I think people thought, well, I was fat at the time, so nobody knew I was tall. When you're like really fat, like not that I'm at my skinniest now, but when you're like really fat, no one tracks you unless you're like 6'4" or something, you know, unless you're just a massive person.
Yeah.
If you're 6'1", that's not tall enough to take away from the fat. So they're just like, oh. I also got this a lot growing up. I got a lot of, oh, I didn't realize you were tall. I got that a lot. I still kind of get that sometimes.
Nice.
I'm like, thanks, I guess.
Yeah, that is like more of an observation, less of a compliment. You know?
No, it's just like, well, I was hoping that would come across to people. That's a good asset to be tall. People like a tall guy.
People love a tall guy.
Yeah. So I think it's because I slouch a lot or something, and I just don't carry myself. You know. But yeah, I used to get that. Although recently people said that they're like, oh, have you gotten taller or something like that? And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know I don't know how I suddenly tracked as tall.
You also you're a long-legged guy.
Yeah.
You know, like I have a pretty long torso.
Yeah.
So it like people watching this are probably like, what is it? They're like the same.
Yeah.
Like we're not even close to the same height.
Oh, how tall are you?
I'm like 5'1".
No way. You're not Brendan Crick.
Yeah. People are constantly like, I didn't know you were that short. No, I'm 5'10". I'm 5'10".
Okay. Well, that's close. We're pretty close. It's only a couple inches.
Yeah, that's easy to say when you're over 6 feet tall.
Trust me, I have to convince people a couple inches is a lot.
Yeah. So that's definitely a disappointment chakra unlocked. Appreciate you for sharing that.
Trying my best.
Yeah, now Ansley.
I'm not good at being personal, so this is difficult. Not difficult, but I'm like, I'm trying to do a good job. I'm
It's
trying
going
to do
very well.
good.
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad.
think you're doing a great job.
So, Robbie, this is your heart chakra. What have you learned from grief?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think grief. I just went through a tragedy like pretty recently, like I would say less than a year ago. So I'm still kind of like processing and learning from it, I think. And so I can't really say. I think honestly the main thing I learned is like even when things seem really, really, really bad, they can get better, and they usually will. So yeah.
Okay, and we don't necessarily have to take too long with this particular question.
Yeah, it's still a little raw for me, so I
Yeah.
apologize for not elaborating too much more.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, so with that being said, that you prefer to not share your recent grief situation?
A friend of mine just like passed away, like pretty, and it was kind of brutal. I don't really want to talk about it too much.
Yeah. Well, sorry to hear that.
All good.
It's but thank you for sharing what you did share.
Oh,
I know
thanks,
grief can be a little bit tough for people.
Yeah.
And we'll consider that a grief chakra. Dilated?
Dilated.
Yeah.
I killed the surfer.
Yeah, now we'll call it unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you confess to a crime on this podcast, that's a definite free chakra unlocked.
Yeah.
That might be the ultimate chakra.
Yeah. All right, Ansley.
All right,
let's
we
do
are
this.
to the throat chakra. What's a favorite lie that you tell or you've told? You get extra karmic points if it's a lie that's still in rotation.
All right, so we just got done doing Robbie's Patreon episode, and boy, was it a great time unlocking his shadow self. And remember, you can get that for only $1, which gets you all of our exclusive content, which not only includes the counter to this podcast, which we call Two Jack Bros After Dark, where we enlighten the shadow self, but it also includes all the fight commentary and analysis that we do on Ansley's Jiu-Jitsu matches, as well as any stand-up stuff that we put up there as well. $1, all of our exclusive content. Robbie, did you have a good time doing the Patreon?
I had a fucking blast. I would buy that for $1.
You see that? Do what Robbie does.
Yeah.
Buy that for $1. And now we're going to get back to this episode and find out what Robbie's favorite lie to tell is.
I tell a lot of lies.
First
But
person
was
ever
that
say
a lie? That's a good question. This is a funny one, and I think they knew. When I was applying to Emerson, they said, "Oh no, that's not really a lie. This is a joke." This is kind of here's one that I do repeatedly. It's not really a lie, but it's omission. I've done roast battle, and sometimes the host will be like, "What do you want me to say at a stand-up show?" Right? And I say roast battle, and they would say, and then they introduce me. They say, "You've seen him on Comedy Central's roast battle," and I was like, "Hey, they said it, not me," Like, so I don't correct them but that happens like semi-frequently, and I still tell people I was on roast battle. I don't lie and say Comedy Central's roast battle, but I leave that up to them to that kind of thing. But it's also like introducing people with credits are like so meaningless. I feel like who cares? Do audience members care if someone was on TV or not? I guess they do. But
You're already there.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to do anything. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they necessarily care. Like, they're not going to get up and walk out because you don't have credits.
Right.
But when there are certain credits that you can say that makes a person go, huh.
Right. Yeah.
It's like that's really all it is.
Right. You're right. But yeah, but it's like, yeah, I guess so. But then what's the difference if they're going to go, and then give you more of a shot than if, they're just like, oh, he's on bar shows.
Yeah, it is strange because they'll like, if you have credits, right? When people come up to you after the show, they'll say, "Hey, good show." Like if you killed, like this is like the standard is if you killed.
Yeah.
So both example, you have credits, you kill, people say, "Great job. Where can I follow you? What other stuff do you do?" You don't have credits on a show where other people have credits, and you kill just as much as they do.
Exactly.
They come up to you and be like, "Keep at it.
Right.
You're gonna be good at this."
Something will
You know?
exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's like it's just one of those. I don't know. I guess to me that feels hard. Like that kind of thing. It's like, I maybe I just gotten to such a point where I just like don't like. I feel like there's not that much of a difference between a lot of comics I know that have been on TV and those who haven't. Like especially in terms of skill level. Like I feel like maybe I'm saying that sour grapes because I haven't been on TV, but I feel like there's a lot of comics who have been on TV that I watch their act and it's like whatever. And then there's comics who have actual fans, but they haven't been on TV. And they're great, so it's like, well, why does it matter who's been on Colbert, who Colbert said was good or whatever, you know? And that maybe that might be bitterness talking there, but I also like, I don't know, I just don't really. I feel like I feel like the dynamic is shifting away because it used to be you book people who are on TV because someone else had like been like, okay, he's good, and then it's also like, oh, people probably have seen him and know who he is because he's been on the Tonight Show or Colbert or whatever. It's like now that's not the case. Nobody watches those things. Everyone just watches YouTube, And yeah, maybe they've seen it on YouTube if it popped off or something, but it's like way more people will watch like a fucking podcast or something than a TV set,
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where that was done, where somebody said Comedy Central's roast battle, and because of the circumstances of the show, you felt like you should have corrected them?
I've literally never corrected it, not even once.
Never even considered it.
Because I'm like, I deserve to be on Comedy Central's roast battle. Fuck you.
That should be what credits are.
Yeah. What do I feel like I deserve to have been on? He should have been on SNL.
Yeah, that would be great if credits were like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he should have been an athlete.
Yeah.
Especially if you ask his father.
So you've seen him on the San Francisco 49ers. Give it up for Robbie Goodwin.
All right, now, before we move on, I just have to ask you this. If that's the way credits worked, what were the credits your mom wants you to have be?
You've seen him. I mean, she always used to say, why don't you ask to be on The Daily Show?
Just ask.
Yeah.
It's just that you're not asking politely.
It's like, Mom, how many... This is after years of me doing comedy, too. So you don't think I thought of that?
Yeah.
Dude, I would love to see you in an argument about your mom telling you to just ask to be on The Daily Show, and you're like freaking out and like storming out of the house over it.
The Daily Show or a movie with Steve Martin or Eddie Murphy. Those are the credits my mom wishes I had.
Yeah.
She sounds like a good agent.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. That is a good throat chakra unlocked.
Yes.
A great lie by omission. Those count as lies.
Mm-hmm.
Ansley.
All right. We are now to the third eye chakra.
Third eye blind.
Yes. So we're out of the physical into the metaphysical.
Ooh.
So what is something that you thought was separate, but now as you've gotten older, you've learned that it's the same?
Like what's an example of that kind of thing? Like I'm not quite sure I understand. Like love and a relation. I don't know. Like what? Like what's an example here?
Somebody talked about friends and family. Like as it, like when they were younger, it was very different. But like as you get older, you realize like.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, throwing it back to where I was, I used to think adults and I feel like I used to feel like there's a line you cross when you become an adult, and then you're an adult, you know everything, and now I'm like, oh no, it's all just kind of one long experience. Like it's all kind of like. I mean, maybe once you have kids, I can't speak for it. Like maybe something changes or something like that.
I would have never known my parents were like, oh my God, we're fucking her up so bad.
Really?
Like I assume they were saying that because we're always like, oh God, what are we doing? Like I hope we're doing good. Like you assume that your parents are like, I know how to raise a child.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a big experiment.
Yeah. You look at them as an authority for so much of your life, and they're pretty good at convincing you that they are one.
Yeah. This is something we were just talking about recently. Like I would make fun of my dad and my mom for getting old.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I'd be, oh, you're so old. And my son did that to me recently.
Oh, really?
And I was like, that's so mean. That is mean. And it was it just made me want to like I wouldn't because I still do that to my mom and dad. I still call them old. But it's like, man, that sucked when I was doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I'm shocked that I'm becoming almost the age my parents were when they had me, or almost. Yeah, I was just like, that's nuts. I cannot imagine And I was like, okay, so maybe they didn't know shit, because it's like I don't know shit, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, you know, this is a hack observation, but it's like really been like kind of weighing on me lately. Actually, I'm like, oh shit, I kind of thought there was like some sort of grand revelation that happens at some point, or like, you know, it all builds to something or whatever. But it's just like, oh no, you just kind of keep living, and that's it.
So I'm kind of curious, because as a traditional black man in America,
Absolutely.
when I was born,
Starts in the home.
like I was born pretty close to my mom's age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much older is your mom than you are? Like, when did she have you?
Mid-30s. I'm 30 now, but it's like, that's approaching.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what we did.
Yeah. I was 30.
Yeah, I was 31, but that's close. You know,
Yeah,
for having
yeah.
kids, I think
Yeah.
that's how it should be done.
Right,
just feel
right.
so-
Not 16 or.
I feel so far from it, and I also feel not equipped for it at all. Like, I mean, maybe it's because I'm still living a fucking comedian lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't help, and all of my friends are degenerates too. But so it's like,
For us, it was like like we were talking earlier. We've been together since college.
right.
And but like all through our 20s, like the conversation never came up, and then all of a sudden we were just like, let's have a kid. Like it was just
Yeah.
like, and we decided it and we did it. Like it was like, not
That's
that it was
great.
like a line you go over and like now you know everything. It was
Right.
just like we were like, okay, we're gonna do that. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was like,
well, that speaks to the fact that you were together for so long, and that's
Yeah.
good to hear. That at some point maybe it just feels right, because I'm
Yeah.
like, is it like, am I ever gonna want? Because I'm not that I desire it, but I feel like, you know, a deadline. You know, I don't know. There's like an internal deadline in my head or whatever, but not even. Speaking, I guess I was always like, oh, I'll know exactly when will be the right time. I'm like, I think people might just have kids just whenever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm like, oh, that's kind of more scary, because I was waiting for that, you know, the perfect time, which probably is never happens, right?
We were together for 13. No, it doesn't, because even then it was like, so 13 years is how long we were together before we had kids, and the conversation wasn't even like we're ready for kids now.
no.
It was like,
have
I
you
guess we can
thought,
stop
maybe?
fucking for sport now. I guess.
Aw,
Like, I'd be interested. Are you
Yeah.
interested?
Okay, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
that's
See
great.
if we make it
Yeah.
for this first kid. Yeah, but that's definitely a third eye chakra unlocked.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first time we had an answer like that.
Yeah.
Or that was the answer.
Yeah.
That's a really good answer.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah.
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 I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like, that's really been on my mind. Like,
Yeah.
just about like, oh shit, like, you know, you're just the same you're just a person. You're just a person your whole life. It's like, you know.
Is that the wisest revelation that you've come out of thinking about that for a little while?
I think so. I honestly do think it's like a weird, big truth that I kind of have learned, like just through living.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it like upsets me. It like upsets me that that's how it is. I'm like, it kind of just makes me think life is like meaningless, and there's like no like actual, like there's no rule book, and that's almost more upsetting.
Have you been reverse engineering people? Like, you see a person where they are now, and you're like, "Fuck, you were always a douchebag."
Yeah, I guess people don't change. That's another thing I learned. Well, yeah, just like it's just like I think there's just like a thing of like, all right, I was a kid, and you think of yourself as a kid, and all the adults the same, and then you're a young adult, and then it's like, okay, I'm still feel separate from the adults, and now that I'm kind of like firmly in adulthood, it's like, well, fuck, this is crazy. I don't know. I still feel like I'm like, you know, 21 in a lot of ways, with some of this shit, and it's just like, I guess you just never get used to it in a weird way, you know. I think, you know, and I'm sure now of course I'm more mature or whatever, but it's just you just feel how you feel your whole life. You're never like, I am an adult or whatever. I don't know, but maybe you are. maybe when you're parents. But
I like that you are so worried that we are adults.
well, I don't know. You have like a house, you have kids, you have family, you have doing stuff and all that stuff. And I'm just saying, like, I personally, I'm kind of like, I feel so far removed from the idea of adulthood that I had when I was a kid, and then I'm just like, okay, but that idea is kind of meaningless, you know, in a way. Or it's kind of like what I thought it was. I built it up so much more in my head than what it actually is, than what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
The two things are the same.
and we've been together since we were kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So
True.
we've grown up together. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, I still feel like a young,
Yeah.
20-year-old guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
I'm just a 20-year-old with a fucking house and salt and pepper
That's
hair.
pretty sick, actually. That's pretty awesome. To be a 20-year-old with a house.
Yeah.
What are you, a Vine star?
Yeah, I'm like a TikTok millionaire.
Take it easy, Bam Margera. I don't know. I keep referencing him.
All right, but that's definitely a third eye chakra unlock. I really like that answer a lot.
Yeah.
That's gonna if anybody asks for an example coming
good
up
one.
soon,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a good
Fuck
example.
yeah. Hell
to
yeah.
talk
All right.
about.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Ansley, take it away.
Last chakra, your crown chakra. All right, so this is a two-parter. What is one thing you can't give up and why? That's the first part. And what would giving it up mean?
What can't I give up and why? What can't I give up? Probably could not give up watching movies. I'm really into movies. Because I hate reality and I like stories. I guess giving up like fiction and because it's like I've outgrown a lot of like nerdy stuff that I was super into, but I'm still a hardcore nerd about like movies and stuff like that. And I think it's just because like I don't know why I just like have like there's something like embedded in me that's like obsessed like watching everything that comes out and like all this stuff. I think because this probably means I want to make movies. Actually, to a broader extent, it feels like comedy is something I can't fucking give up, despite like there's so many things I'm like, my life would improve in X ways if I could just give up on wanting to be an entertainer. But I think it's just because there's just something in you that needs to like be creative or something, right?
Yeah.
So is that a boring answer?
No. But before you move on to the second part,
I didn't want to say
question,
drinking because that'd be sad.
multiple people have said
Really?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll say drinking too.
Yeah.
Because drinking is awesome.
Yeah, take that, Siskel. I'm sorry. So what would you, what are some of the nerdy things that you did give up and kept movies and drinking and comedy?
Pokemon cards. I collected Pokemon cards. I used to collect movies, I guess, but I used to like collect DVDs too. I used to read comic books.
See, if you have kids, you get to relive all that stuff.
Oh, I can't wait.
awesome.
We're back. All right, we'll
I'm
be
not
back.
collecting them. I'm getting them for my son.
Yeah. We've got some Pokemon
Let me open that
cards.
for you.
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Charizard holographic.
And
I'm
you're
just gonna
super
put this
awesome.
one in a pack.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
super awesome because you can like name them all and you can like really impress kids.
Oh, hell yeah. That's great. Well, that's what's so cool. I was telling Sidney earlier. That's what's kind of fun about Pokemon still being a big thing. Like, 'cause when I was a kid, it was a big thing. It looks like it's still a big thing. So that's like,
Yeah.
hopefully they hold out for when I have kids in like 30, 40 years. Whenever
Now-
it happens.
When did you stop collecting Pokemon? How old were you when you stopped collecting Pokemon cards?
I was kind of a holdout. I think I was like 13. I think it was like middle school and someone told me it was gay. And I was like, yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a holdout for a lot. I feel like I was always like 3 years behind when my friends were like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're right, actually.
What was the longest nerdy thing that you hung on to and also still let go?
Maybe posting on message boards, but maybe that was just because it was replaced by social media. I used to like post on a lot of message boards and forums and stuff when I was a kid. I posted on a Homestar Runner forum. I posted on a Simpsons forum. Those are my big two. Yeah, I guess maybe it's just all on social media. So now everyone basically does that. But at the time, it was a very nerdy thing to do, and I spent way too much time doing it. But I did it like through high school, and I think might have even checked in on it a little bit in college, which is very funny.
So Homestar Runner is pretty good.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Now, so what would giving up those things mean? You could pick either one or all three: comedy, movies, or drinking. What would giving up those things mean to you?
Comedy would probably mean moving out of New York and like getting a real job, or staying in New York, but just like really focusing on my career and like getting like a really good job or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just focus on like making money and like or even on my personal life and all, focus more on like just like making a lot of money and having a family or something like that. Just a totally different lifestyle and just like more traditional, I would say. Movies, man, I don't even know what I would do with that movie. I really think that might be my number one because I'm like, well, I just don't know what I would do. I guess I just go on the computer all the time and just Google and just spend more time just like browsing the internet, I guess.
Is it all types of movies or do you have a specific genre that you're...
I'm really into like crime movies, thriller movies, mob movies, but I watch everything. Even like, yeah, I'll watch like stupid shit all the time. I love 70s movies too. 70s and 90s are my two favorite decades for movies, I think. Love
Okay.
Scorsese. Love Paul Schrader. He's great. those guys. And I think drinking, if I gave it up, I'd probably lose some weight, and honestly, probably all benefits. But what I'd lose out on, I really like kind of like hanging out at bars with people. I do get like a big kick out of that, and a lot of like activities around drinking are very fun. Like I like going to concerts. I like or seeing shows.
I like being drunk.
I like being drunk. Sometimes I'm like, do I like this band or I just want to get drunk somewhere? Yeah, I don't know. It would definitely be like a big lifestyle shift because a lot of my activities are kind of centered around, like, not centered around, but I feel like I'll go out and do stuff, and the drinking will be a plus, a part of it. You know, I'm like, if I was doing, sometimes I think to myself, would I do these kind of same things if I just wasn't drinking? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I don't think that's the case, but maybe I would. I don't know. I'd probably not go to another music festival again if I stopped drinking.
Okay. I
think we did it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Those are all the questions. Robbie, how do you feel? Do you feel enlightened? How do you feel?
I do feel enlightened, I think. I think I'm enlightened. I don't actually feel that enlightened.
Yeah, but since you don't normally talk about this kind of stuff, like, how do you feel?
It actually feels good. I mean, I feel like it was good to get a little more vulnerable, you know, but I've done, it was good. It was good. I've definitely done like WTF Marin style podcasts that like weirdly felt bad after I did it, but this was a fun one. This was good.
Hell yeah.
Good.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it. And of course, check out Robbie's podcast, Young Guns. Check out his comedy show where he's co-headlining with Mike Figs in October. And jump on our Patreon because we're about to hop on a Patreon and we're going to unlock Robbie's shadow self for enlightenment purposes. Mm-hmm. And again, $1 on the Patreon gets you all of our exclusive content, which includes the counter to this podcast, which we call Two Jack Bros After Dark, because that's where we enlighten the dark side of each guest. And we also do some fight commentary and analysis on Ansley's jiu-jitsu matches that she has, as well as some stand-up stuff that you see. It's a lot of stuff there. $1, all of our exclusive content. Get there. Other than that, we love you guys. Thank you for all the support.
Thank you.
Bye.
We're out.
Two Jack Bros.